He was here. He's just a total.
Congress. I have with me 1P Eric Louis, and we are going to be commentating this morning's games.
Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Louis, two-time professional. Um, Happy to be here, commentating alongside Solomon.
It's my bad. I can't keep track of anything. I don't know who's winning this tournament, so I'm going to need a lot of hand holding as we go. But we'll just jump right into the action on board one. Of course, the Swiss pairing system means that the winners are going to continue to face winners. You'll have the people with the two strongest ranks matched up on board one, and that should match. Everyone should slide down the ladder as we go down to boards 2, 3, 4. So on board one today, we have Alex G and Han Han. Alex G, the newly minted 1 Pro, Han Han, a 5 Pro coming in dark horse style, and so far just dominating the action, undefeated. But I think Alex G has a good chance to share a spot in first place. Only one loss behind.
Yeah, Han, as we know, is the favorite. And he is the sole undefeated player at the moment.
Mm-hmm. How would you say that their styles match up? Is the favorable look for Alex?
As far as I can tell, Han and Alex are both pretty steady players.
Mm-hmm.
So we can expect a fairly close game.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm excited for this game. Alex is taking black, so I think he'll be able to dictate a little bit of the opening. And, so I'm excited for that. If you want, let's go ahead and go to the start of this game. Some of you have been following along the whole time, but we are seeing it fresh for the first time here.
Alex G is black.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Starts with this very common opening.
So he closes one corner, and Han approaches the other. Han plays away from the. Normally we'd see a move here around R10 or Q10.
Right. So this, as we know, is the old traditional perspective.
Yeah, black seems to get a free approach and immediate pressure on it.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with this for white. It's just that AI has introduced us to this attachment. And this attachment works well against a large Shamari. It's a way to settle the shape.
Mm-hmm.
It creates a sort of sequence where white will take some influence and black is secured into the corner.
Sure, it was black's corner already. White doesn't lose much by attaching, and black obviously can't ignore and let white cut through. So white gets a free exchange or two. How far is white able to press this before he fixes the right side?
Right, so black has two ways to respond. The most common way is to hunt it from the inside, like you did in the game. The other way is to hunt it from the outside.
Oh, you have to hunt it. So if anyone has watched Firefly, Captain Reynolds famously said, "Your enemy tries to kill you, you try to kill them right back." Or if someone tries to kill you, you try to kill them right back. So you can't just let someone attach to your stone and not attach right back.
And the local variation will continue somewhat like this.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, we can see black has a pretty nice corner.
And it seems to have negated white's potential on the right side as well in this case.
Right. However, white has created a position on the bottom side. And white gets to capture this one zone in the ladder. However, white has to be aware if black were to play some sort of ladder breaker, white would have to capture the stone.
Yeah. So black's going to get one free move at some point in the upper left, and maybe that's a double approach or something else. I always forget to take those stones in the ladder. Yeah. Forget that I owe my opponent a move.
In the game, black hunting from the inside. This is, of course, a very common variation at this time. But when we first saw it, it's perhaps been about 5 years or so. This was all very surprising. It flies in the face of hundreds of years of traditional theory.
It seems pretty good for black. It's a big corner, and white's he's peeped underneath white's wall there. But it was black's corner to begin with. White sort of has something.
Yeah, so at this point, white has two ways to continue. The relatively simpler move is to cut on the inside. And usually what black in response will turn here, capture this white's, then white will create a position on the right side. And as a result, after this Q10 extension, without these exchanges in the lower right, black would have been able to follow up with R8.
Welcome back to Estes Park, Colorado. Sorry for the interruption. My name is Solomon Smilack, and I'm here with Eric Louis, professional Tudon. And we are in the fifth round of the Masters Tournament. We're going to switch gears a little bit and take a look at where things stand. We have four very exciting games on the top four boards this morning, and they're pretty well underway. So we want to give you a quick overview of this morning's actions to see where things are at. So we've jumped to the end, we've jumped to a current position. So what you've probably been watching along, and we'll get Eric's take and see where things are at. Then we'll dive a little bit deeper into the analysis on each board.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the stream. We are at the current position in board one game. Han is white, and at this moment, white has encroached into black's corner, and black has to jump along the side.
So is this corner going to live just outright?
Yes, so black will answer this here, and white is going to make life in the corner. And you can probably expect black to jump in here.
Okay. So, but white's pretty comfortable in the middle there. I think getting that side gouged out was kind of expected from the beginning. It was very hard to solidify the entire thing, a simple move, and it's still potential to get points in the middle. Getting the corner is a pretty big coup, because that was a big corner for black. I'm kind of worried about those blue stones on the left. The white seems to have gotten quite a lot out of attacking. The whole lower left corner looks very hard to meddle with.
Yeah, this game does, so far, it shows Han's very steady style. White stones, there are no weaknesses in white shapes.
Mm-hmm.
And also black as well. Black is pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
They've both got positions which should serve them well in the second half of the game.
All right. Well, let's jump over to board number two. On board number two, we have Andy Liu and Michael Chen. Z Chen on
various Go servers.
Yeah. He's a fun streamer to watch. I always find he always complicates things. To me, he seems unnecessarily complicated. He likes that mid-game fighting, lots of groups, lots of uncertainty. So let's jump to the end and quickly assess where that game's at, and hopefully we can review it in full shortly. Andy, you took black, and it looks to be a bit of a mess. There's dead stones all over the place.
Yeah, this game is very interesting. Andy and Michael are very familiar with each other. They've been rivals for the better part of 20 years. And I have also grown up alongside them. So this is a very exciting and matchup, and it's an unusual position for me to be in. But anyway, let's take a look at the.
Who do you like? Who do you like on this board? If you had to take one side.
So yeah, so it's interesting to evaluate this position. So black has, as you can see, black has some territory on the lower left, lower right, stop position, and the top side. And
White seems in trouble to me. White only really seems to have the upper left, and maybe some small thing developing on the right. But if the L1 move looks like black can start a ko to kill that entire white group.
exactly. So if black were to start this ko at this time, yeah, let's say black were to use this move as a ko threat, then white would end the ko, and as we can see, black's G4 group.
It comes with a punch. So winning the ko has a follow-up itself. That's so it's too heavy.
Right. So at this moment, it's a very heavy ko that black can't start at the moment.
But it looks like black could break out with that group. So if black got a second eye or came through at H7 or something, if black had a way out with that group, then suddenly white might have some real
there's
some real danger.
There is a weakness in the shape here. There is a potential ladder that can occur from here. And at this moment, this ladder does not work for black. This ladder will run into white stone. And presumably, black's move here is aiming
to get that Q10 move in and have a ladder breaker in place. And then from there to be able to start that ko perhaps.
Yeah, so at the moment, black's territories are more solid. White's position on the left can still be invaded. Let's say.
Yeah, the 3-3 is open, and
around the C14 area, there are some weaknesses that we can look at a bit later.
Well, yeah, I like Andy's position on that one. Let's go on to board number 3, where we have Albert Yen and Yongfei Gei. Albert Yen may be one of the other players that could stop Han Han's run.
Yeah, so this one space low pincer seems to be Albert's specialty. Seems like he studied many of these variations. Right, so this is a move that is a bit unusual. The usual Joseki nowadays has black playing this Kostumi.
Yeah, it seems very conservative, but it does take all that Biaggi out of that P4 stone.
Right, and this Joseki variation appeared in one of Albert's earlier games against Michael Chen.
It seems very over-concentrated and compact, but if both players are playing over-concentrated and compact, I guess it makes a lot of sense. Let's jump ahead and see where the game has ended up. Black having a group running out. Ooh, my bad, I'm in the wrong tree there. So as it stands, it looks like, well, it almost looks like white is going to escape with some of those stones.
Right. White is almost certainly going to play N5 next. And its current position, black has Black has a large territory on the bottom side. The lower right corner is not yet completely alive.
Mhm.
There's some potential
There's danger there. R2.
right around that area, perhaps a co. Black's got a nice position on the right side, and also some potential along the left as well.
Mhm.
Just a bit of potential there. And white, on the other hand,
White says no to that.
white on the other hand has somewhat smaller territories, and on the lower right side of the board, we can see white spent a lot of moves there, but
Yeah.
it isn't surrounding.
Yeah, he's captured two
many
stones.
points.
Well, white does have two other corners. Ish. But yeah, the fact that black group going out of the bottom is just.
Yeah, at first glance, black seems to be ahead at this point.
But white's also got no weak groups to worry about. So there's that's a position I always love to be in my games instead. To look at my groups and say, you know what? What do I need to defend? Nothing. Maybe I can start a new weak group. Maybe I can expand. Maybe I can attack. So I like that white's kind of got hands free at this point, while black has that sort of loose wall on the upper left side that can get pushed out a little bit, I think. I could see white getting the top or just stealing the upper right corner, whatever white wants to do. I think. The ball's in his court.
Well, black's stones in the upper left are not really attackable at the time.
Mhm.
So yeah, so we can say again, this is a game where both sides have pretty solid positions.
Okay. All right, let's jump to the next board. On board 4, we have Hugh Zhang and Jeremy Chu, two very strong players.
Right. So Hugh and Jeremy are they used to be two of our top youth players.
Mhm.
Of course, they're still very competitive at the top of American Go.
That's too bad. We don't have a camera on them, do we? Which is too bad for you in the audience. Hugh is probably the most attractive person at this entire event.
Would you say so?
Oh, I'm just filling time. He is a delightful person. I love his attitude. I think he brings sort of a joy to the game that we see in a lot of players who really just have a nice positive outlook.
Yeah. I mean, I can't argue with that.
In this game, there's a lot of straight lines coming out into the middle. It looks like black has a lot of black. It seems like black is really solid here, and white just sort of has. Oh, I like black here.
So black's on an interesting position. But yeah, at this time, it's hard just at a glance to tell who's ahead. It looks fairly even this time.
Yeah, I just see that again. I come from the perspective of how many groups do I have to take care of? How many fires do I need to put out? And in black's case, I don't see much of anything. And white will be able to again get some exchanges in the upper right with that extra long knight's move enclosure. But otherwise, the black groups seem very settled, very hard to disturb. While the upper left is a very wide extension, and then there's this white group having to run out in the middle. I think for us low-down players, we hate to be pushed around because it's very hard to find ways to answer efficiently. This two-space jump by white. Can that be cut? Can it be harassed? And if it is, how do you respond? And that's just a position I hate to be in.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a long, drawn-out battle.
Well, it does look like that's going to take them some time. So let's go ahead and get back to where we were on board one. We were looking at that opening, and I think we got as far as it looks like here. So instead of playing one more move on the right side to solidify the right side, Han decided to just minimize Black's potential on the bottom. Add a stone to his corner, and see what Black wants to do next.
Yeah, so this lower right corner variation comes to an end at this point. We can see Black's corner is solidified. It's also increased in size. And in return, White has also, at this time, saved a move extending from Q14. So this allows White to turn his attention towards the bottom, and this Shamari serves to reduce Black's potential on the bottom side.
Yeah, White's not really worried about a move by Black on the right. So he almost welcome it. Say, welcome to my house.
Right. So let's say Black jumps in here.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to come in on the third line, because then you're going to just get forced into a small life, and White's going to have just an immense amount of power.
Right. If Black jumps on into the third line, White can simply tap on the top.
Yeah, and suddenly Black has.
Yeah, Black would have to connect alongside the bottom, but White isn't concerned about this.
Yeah, White can play away again.
Yeah, if Black jumps in at this time, White can deal with it relatively easily.
You might still play from the outside, even on the fourth line. Do you think?
Yeah, it's very possible. White can tap Black on that and force Black to create some sort of living shape on the right side. And in this way, White is not concerned about surrounding territory.
All right, so let's see how it progressed. Black decided instead, points are points. Computer says the blue move.
So White chooses to extend, and this is a good way to take Sente.
And White builds. That seems pretty big.
Yeah, this extension is probably AI's top suggestion. In the past, perhaps we would have been more likely to play the star point.
Taking away some third line and denying Black an easy base on the left is an okay price to pay for being a little bit low. Seems like this gives Black a lot of options, a shoulder hit or a cap or something to minimize White on the left.
Right, and if we can take a quick look back here. So White chooses to block on this side because that's the side that White has most potential on. And if White wanted to keep the corner territory,
the double honey,
White can choose this variation.
It seems like Black might invite this, given that this really develops the top and leaves the left again very, very wide, very hard to convert for White in a single move.
Right. So I think most of the time, the 3/3 invader welcomes this invasion, but in terms of points AI evaluation, it's all playable. It's roughly even, and it mostly comes down to a matter of personal preference. So Black plays its Kasumi, and this is the natural follow-up to the lower, to the upper left.
Yeah, Black says you're growing, I'm growing. That makes sense.
Black can also consider playing this Knight's move. However, in this shape, there is a slight weakness.
Yeah.
Black is not in danger or anything.
White has
But
white
if
gets to really
black
just
connects
shrink
on
that
the
corner down.
right, if black connects on the outside, white gets this Hane, which is a very comfortable move to get in center.
And if black blocks the other way, there's potentially a risk of cuts.
Right, if black attacks from the inside, then white can create a very powerful position.
It's a great double. So white's going to be, yeah, the growth of white there is black is going to have to give way. It's fifth, looks like fifth line. So fourth line territory is nothing to scoff at, but white's suddenly just going to be able to dictate the best of the game in the lower left there.
Okay, so white does come back to finish the right side.
Mm-hmm. White says, okay, no more weak groups.
Instead of playing here, white can also consider continuing along the upper left, playing this attachment. And this is a very common sequence.
Yeah.
And white can continue along, expanding the left as much as possible.
And even if black comes in and survives somewhere, the resulting white wall is just going to make another big territory.
Yeah, as white, I might consider this variation. Although there is a slight worry that with the addition of the black stones, J16,
It makes it a little bit harder for white to run out those
right.
3 stones.
Right, white's Q14 stones are a bit weaker than they were before.
Yeah, it's just amazing to see how that, even though they're 10 lines away, the fighting would cause white to give up something. So black begins an attack.
And white naturally plays this sequence. This is
the sequence you just showed us. So this actually I feel like gives white a pretty strong ability to almost cap that black stone. I feel like F12 is just.
yeah. So this sequence is a way to lean on black strength, and then next, as you said, F12 is the natural move.
Yeah, okay. And take note. Q players, down players, you lean in the direction that you don't want. You build power, and then you shift your way back. Show your true intent.
Right, so in this shape, players might be tempted to make this Atari, but that would be a mistake.
That creates a problem. Now that black can't Atari at E17.
Exactly. So white can get this Hane in, and black's 3 stones can be captured with a ko at D19.
Oh, not just a reduction of corner, but an actual. I have a flower viewing ko for white. White with almost no risk, and black with a lot to lose.
Right. So white is probably not going to start this ko right away, but even up to here, white is already gained quite a bit. This very comfortable B17 Hane. So yeah, so in this shape, it's crucial for black not to make the Atari at G15, and instead simply extend. And naturally, at this point, black probably can't do much other than D10 running out.
Yeah, it's hard to settle. You could maybe attach a C10 and try to move locally, but it'd be really painful. So black's just happy to be getting this group out into the open.
Yeah, so black's making some Sabaki shape. And white's threatening to play E11 next to the shape. So let's say black plays here, then black stone will be cut like this.
Right. Sort of a double peep. And if black answers on the left at D11.
Yeah, so we noticed this move is very subtle. It's perhaps more instinctive to make this haunting. But this sequence, it seems like black doesn't want white to get stronger. This way with E8 and F8, white's lower left will be harder to invade in the future. So black is going to play E12. Okay.
This is protecting against that E11 cut. Now there's a squeeze there, and so white just settles. It seems a little slow. I guess it denies black of any base and lends some help to the upper left.
Right. So if white were to play elsewhere,
yeah, the bottom seems interesting.
Let's say white plays here, but then black is going to follow up with this tiger's mouth. And this will almost certainly be sente against white.
So suddenly black is developing shape, maybe getting eyes, and not having a weak group anymore, and he gets it for free, and can attack the white group on the top left.
Well, the attack on the upper left is not very likely to happen at this time.
Long term,
yeah, but the main consideration behind this move is to take away black's eye space.
Force black and black response.
This is a very thick move. I think black perhaps would have been reluctant to play this. I assume he couldn't find anything better.
What about running that black group out into the middle, something like
something like this,
or maybe a 2-point jump down to E6 or something, or is that just inviting white to seal up his territory too easily?
Yeah, that is the thought. But yeah, a move like this can certainly be considered. If white responds, black can consider this group more or less settled for the time being. And let's say black turns to the bottom. This is a very big move as well. So white can destroy this eye. And yeah, there is a concern that black is a bit thin.
Yeah. And if black does get pushed across the board, again, that's coming back to white's having invested an extra move at Q10 to strengthen that side. Now it's a nice place to push an attack. So now white takes center to the bottom right.
And this cut is
white just hoping to get S6 and center here?
S6 is not going to be sente. This move is just a probe to test black's response.
Yeah, I think most of us amateurs would want to just catch that stone, take R2 and say, you know what, thank you for the meal.
Right. So if this happens, white will probably play one more move, give up another stone, and then after blocking here, T5 is sente. So this clamp is no longer an option.
So this seals up white's right side far better than simply playing directly at S6, where black might just clamp that stone.
Right. If white plays this directly, then black will.
That is elegant.
And there is some potential for black to create something on the right side. So if black wants to prevent that, black can also consider a triumph from this side.
And that's in order to maintain that claim.
Right,
Okay.
but this R3 for S3 exchange is it's slightly good for white. And that idea comes from if white were to have some stones along, this area, then we can see like there's a potential around R2.
Mm-hmm. Like white can draw that stone and potentially connect it.
So black resists white's plan.
Well, yeah, that is a pretty big corner to simply go up and say, you know what? Willing to have two separate groups. Now black's got two groups to take care of. Takes care of one, takes care of the other, sort of. Again, there's a position where black's out at L5, so but that bottom is so unfinished. Like whoever plays on the bottom gets an easy dozen points and denies their opponent the same.
Yeah, so at this point, it seems like black is going to get sente. At this point, black should probably play H3 now.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, as a result, both players are very thick. And in this kind of position, usually white is a bit easier to play.
Because you have combing.
Exactly.
Sort of you see that everything's pretty well settled. We both have a lot of points. We're going to be fighting for the biggest move, 7-point move or 6-point move or 6-point move, and back and forth all the way to a finish line. But white with that extra boost of combing, happy to keep things small.
So white's strengthening the lower left, reducing the chances of a black invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Also pressing black down at the bottom. Black's a bit over concentrated there.
Yeah, it's hard for black to. I was gonna say it's hard for black to justify another move at K3 to defend. I don't know, 15 points on the bottom.
So next, white might play a move around E8.
No, I guess white just built a wall on the bottom, and now wants to push black in that direction. Maybe. Yeah, come to think of it, the white center is coming together after black took the right side and white built a wall. Seems like white has a pretty good potential there.
Yeah, it looks like black is falling a bit behind at this point. If black were to make a move to settle these stones, let's say black can play here.
Yeah, it's not really forcing white to respond. White's still pretty stable. Can white lay claim to the middle somehow? Maybe just the push at J15 looks
Right. Yeah.
looks dangerous.
Yeah. Any white move around this area would be possible as well.
Mm-hmm.
So black jumps towards the center, and as a follow up for white, I can look forward to attacking black's group with G8.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, black ignored the attack, and then white gets to press it.
But in the game, white did not go for that attack.
This sort of questioning, responding to black's push into the center and saying, "Can I cut that stone off?"
Yeah, this is a very calm move. This seems like white is optimistic about his situation,
Mm-hmm.
but this move is very tempting. So white's trying to,
Yeah, white's threatening to push through.
yeah, white is aiming for something like
File
this.
open, yeah. If white can cut off those black stones, that's a substantial center. But I liked.
There's some, yeah, this would be something I like to name at. This turn is, black doesn't want to simply jump like this.
Yeah, that's the natural thing to deny white the middle, fix the shape.
Yeah, it seems like black wants to prevent white from playing here, but this doesn't seem like a very urgent spot to play at this time.
Black with a bit of a slow move.
So in the game, white attached on the other side. And this is the current position of this game.
Oh wow! So white really almost has the center finished there. If black doesn't find a good way to follow up in the upper left, because it seems like that's what black was aiming for. These a couple really slow moves against that h15 stone, and suddenly white got the middle. Now black has to have that pay off somehow. Maybe attaching at b13 or something just to.
Yeah, so black's a target here. Black is looking after E9 group indirectly.
Because now he's going to get some free moves.
Right, so in case black is in danger, black can simply jump like this. Yeah, white would be, it would be difficult for white to cut black off.
All right, well, I believe that brings us about current. Let's take a quick time check. I think we could review one more game. Right, the battle. Call this a war. A lot of casualties. So we're going to jump over to game number 2 and see if we can get some analysis on the game between Andy and Michael. Again, black taking the Komoku taking the 3-4 point openings, and white responding with star points.
Yeah, we see that a lot.
It's a very flexible position for white to say, okay, what do you have in mind?
Yeah, and we see a 2-space Hashimari, one of AI's inventions. Well, it's not an AI invention. It's first played by humans, but AI was one that popularized it. Okay, so this is a very unique move.
Yeah, it's not the splitting move would be C11 where you have
right. If black wants to split this side,
yeah, a 2-space jump in either direction seems possible from C11. I would be tempted as white, yeah, to say, you know what, you don't have a good 2-space extension.
Right. So as black, you know, in the past we saw this Joseki a lot. Nowadays, AI has given us this move, sweep. It's a very common development, and also this is the most natural way for black. Black's got a position on the right side, so to follow up like this should be expected. But Andy, we can always expect him to play something unusual.
Seems a little bit country. So the good extension is taken away by white, and what does black got in mind to play away?
Right. So black is jumping into the corner here with a very interesting, unusual strategy.
Like you said, they are rivals. They know each other, and maybe they know how to deny each other what the other player wants. Like, I know what you're up to, and I'm just gonna say no to that, regardless of whether or not it's 100% the best move. It's still something playable, and it gives you a little burr in your under your collar.
Right. Right. Whether a move is objectively good or not, that goes out the window. So this is what white is aiming for with f2. This makes a nicer shape than if white were to simply connect.
Yeah, black has the free descent later at f2.
Although we can say this is also playable for white. Now this is just another option. Okay, so this jump way for black to get an exchange here before coming back to live in the corner.
Oh, that's a strange.
Right, so black's plan here is to take Sente. If black makes the normal move to live, then this cut would be fairly comfortable for white. So this invites white to cut on one of two sides. In a game, white cuts on the inside, and that seems to be the correct direction.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to get back just 3 stones in the corner and get back, that sort of lets him settle that C10 stone, which.
Right. If white cuts on this side, then black is going to push and cut through here, and make a nice position on the left side.
Now he's getting rewarded for playing that weird C10 move.
Right, so white tries from this side.
Now black is up 3 corners, has Sente, and can take that each 4 move or something in that area.
Yeah, notice how white doesn't capture the stone cleanly from this side. Presumably the idea is white doesn't want to give black this peep. So that's an interesting plan, but as white, I would be more likely to cut here. You can see the B5 stone is actually doing some work. If black wants to capture, for example, like this, well, white is welcoming that, and then white can still cut off that C10 stone.
All right, so white's not gonna let that problem get fixed for free. All right, so black chose the sort of a loose connection at K4. It sort of almost welcomes the cut now, because black can.
And white makes this cap. It's very, very natural continuation.
And black ignores it again. Black says, I can still get something there.
Yeah, it's the most open area on the board. C10 is, black can deal with it later.
Yeah.
And white's showing us this nice double honey technique into the corner. The usual move is to make this tiger's mouth.
And black Ataris from the top, you can counter Atari and split black's position on the right.
Right, so this variation, normally black will cut here. And something like this is, locally it's about even.
Actually, I like it for black, because black's the one with the settled group. I'm a sucker for settled groups.
Yeah, and if black were to simply extend back, then white can play with a bit more freedom here. Treating R17 and Q16 as forcing moves. Depending on the situation, white can either send down, or there is a potential to make this go.
So white just descends down for a little bit of eye shape and base, and or starts a cove for just completely taking the corner.
Right. So most of the time, black is more likely to Atari.
Mhm.
So this Hani on the inside, the normal way for black to respond is to make this Atari connect here. And then the next move, black's got some options. In this case, I might make an extension on the right
Mhm.
side.
Yeah, you can reserve the right to harass white in the upper right for later once you know what you want. You can.
Yeah, locally the follow-up will be to peep and to connect. And of course, at this time, it will be too early to do that.
Yeah, you can kill, if you were strong enough on the outside, this would kill the whole corner.
If white were afraid of that, white could also take this down here and let black cut here.
So after this cut on the inside, black retakes the corner, and white is going to get an attack on. I'm not sure the R16 stone.
Right. So black is aiming to take away white's space.
Mhm.
There's
Is it worth it for white to sacrifice a second stone here by descending to S19?
so if white descends, then black is going to play here.
No, white has to go catch that stone, and it's over concentrated. It's not even alive yet. It's just one eye.
Yeah,
Shoot!
exactly. Yeah, and N17 is in the perfect spot.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
So this move is aiming at playing this next, but if white plays this directly, black can just escape,
Yeah, this is.
and this will be great for black. So white tries to get some forcing move there
Mhm.
before activating that. Yeah, notice how black has to play solid here. This kind of move would just invite a cut,
And white has more stones locally, so this fight's going to kind of favor white.
right? And the Aji, the potential at 16 is going to be painful for black to deal with.
So now this ladder, I'll say a ladder does work
Works for white.
with just the local stones. But that means any move for black is a ladder breaker.
So we have an exchange.
Oh, and black even goes ahead and grabs them.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid move.
Yeah, it's like they say a Panuki is 40 points in the opening. This seems on par. Black grabs two stones. There's a solid group right in the middle of the board. Three corners.
Locally, in this upper right variation, I would prefer white here.
Oh, because black's been compressed down to like a 2-point corner.
Yeah, and white's got some nice inroads along the right side. And although black is very thick now around this area, it's in terms of points, black is
Well, that's true.
black has taken a
Right.
bit
But
of
really,
a
the bottom right's the only thing black has, and still has to answer for all those Tanukis on the left side. That's fair enough.
I mean, once black makes thickness in exchange for territory, he has to make the thickness into territory later on in the game.
So white goes ahead and takes away black's biggest thing.
Yeah, this is one of the common ways to invade the two-space high Shimari. Um, yeah, depending on the position, white might play from the outside from here first. This would be a normal move.
I'm just developing the right side, but this will let black fix the corner.
Well, in response, black will probably jump into the right side like this. Yeah, and we can see white stones on the upper right aren't completely settled. So a move around here actually might be better.
Yeah, it seems slow, but it's laying a lot of groundwork.
Yeah, this is the move that I would probably choose in this position.
Again, white with Comey, taking the last big undeveloped area. Keep the game simple. So it seemed like white was going to steal a corner, but now white's just taking the entire bottom away from black. Maybe it's not going to be worth anything, but
yeah, it does seem like white is. These moves are not favorable for white because if you notice, at this point, black's position in the lower right, it's got holes, right? We got
yeah, there's still a lot of ways in.
Yeah, we have potential at N4, even the most basic J2 just jumping in. So we certainly can't count this as a black territory yet. But after this deep invasion, with this sequence of moves,
No, white's just on the hook. White's got to live.
right? And black's built a nice influence around P4, and also secured territory in the corner. So I mean, at this time, well, perhaps not immediately, but a move here would be very, very enticing for black. And we notice that R12 isn't actually alive yet.
Yeah, so black's putting pressure on white in the upper right while also grabbing an easy 20 points or more as he comes out to the center.
Yeah, so black is going for trying to make white's life as uncomfortable as possible.
Bother your opponents. That's what I picked up from lectures this week.
Yeah, white is struggling here. This cut.
And white offers to just live and take the corner, and black says no. So I have a bit of a co.
Yeah, this is an interesting threat.
White says it's not a threat. I gotta live. So black fixes.
It's just an unusual move.
It sort of has a relationship to that C10 stone. It does sort of lend a helping hand.
As black, I would most certainly be tempted to try and find some big threats and potentially win this go. Let's say
Maybe the upper right.
Yeah, how about something like this? Yeah, this kind of move, if white were to not answer it, here's the potential for a trade. Let's say white wants to
the whole left, the whole bottom to the whole upper right. That would be an exciting game. Both players with massive frameworks. White on the left, black on the right.
Although, yeah, white is not actually captured yet in this corner, so perhaps black is
something more direct for a threat. Simply pushing it at R14.
Yeah, this
is just inviting white into too good a shape.
right. This will certainly be a threat, but this exchange will
Yeah,
be
it's not.
quite bad for black. So I can consider try this. And then this ko is very big now. Black if black starts
Yeah.
to ko and wins it, white stones there will be captured. So in the game, black plays a relatively loose move. It seems like black is comfortable.
Yep. So now white's alive. Oops. Looks like we've jumped ahead to the end. So black says, well, you're not quite alive yet. Still got the code to deny that eye. And so now black has a weak lead. Again, and this seems rough, as black's going to get pushed towards white's strength here on the left.
And I think at this moment we're going to take a quick break.
Okay. Yeah, white got to put some pressure on black here. We did see the result from US Go, but we'll come back and pick up our reviews after a short break. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with more coverage from Estes Park in just a little bit. Welcome back. We are going to continue our coverage of the U.S. Open Masters tournament. We've got the top 4 boards up. We do have a result on this board 2 game, so we're going to go ahead and see how that action went. Then we can get back to board 1, catch up there, and if we have time, we'll get to boards 3 and 4. So when we left, White had built a kind of an unfortunate position on the bottom, and there's a really big cove.
Right, and as a co-threat, Black played this interesting move. It seems a little bit loose. but black seems to be comfortable in his position.
All right, so. So white says, you know what, I don't have to live right away. I can just attack you right back. Black says, oh, really? White says, yeah, really.
Yeah, black's defense is interesting. This is related to the life and death of white's group. So let's say white tried to make this live, then there is a potential for black to play a ko here.
But all that depends on black's group on the left not getting captured. So let's see how white's attack on this black group goes. A lot of forcing moves. Black makes an eye. White makes an eye. Black threatens to cut off 4 white stone, and white says, go ahead.
Yeah, white can't save this now because black will jump here.
Yeah.
And white cannot really seal black in this time. Let's say white plays here, then black can play this move.
Again, the C10 stone come in. Being a real thorn.
Yeah, and this way, from this side, together with the H7 push, there's not anything white can do to seal black in. So that's why white has to sacrifice these 4 stones.
So white sets back, sacrifices the stones. Takes Sente, I suppose. Finally gets that point on the right side that both players wanted.
Yeah, and again, it's very tempting for black to play here.
Yeah. What can white do? White could push it at H2 and steal an eye and then go back and connect.
Right. So white can connect now, but this ladder is okay. It's still not working for black. So, but there is a potential for some sort of
now black could on the other side at F8, maybe catch the F5 stone in a pinch for an eye if necessary. Maybe that's not an eye. I'm hallucinating. But it does look like white's got a lot of heavy groups to take care of here.
Yeah, so black could play this way if he felt behind and needed to do something more drastic. In the game, black played the most simple move. It must mean he feels like he's ahead.
Yeah, it seems like a dozen points.
Okay, and this attachment is aiming at the weakness in white shape.
Mm-hmm.
The Aji around H7 is still there, but it's not relevant unless
white can give up those 3 stones.
Yeah, unless black were to aim at this L1 ko, then in that case, if black had this in advance before playing L1, then this would be a factor.
Right. Well, that's
So black made 1 exchange here and left it. If black wants to continue, he can cut.
That seems pretty good and exciting. So if black will get some strength on one side or the other. Suddenly black's right side, huge.
Yeah, this sort of thing black can consider, although at this time white seems to have enough room to escape. We can see white has this exchange in Sente, so this sort of move.
Base. Yeah.
So that Aji on the right side, Black leaves it for now, hops into this corner. Now, this
This
is
is just a probe. Can white deny black wife here? Doesn't seem like there's any supporting stones beyond this two-wing extension, so it does seem a little bit thin.
right. It's normally a bit difficult for white to deny black life. At the very least, black can get some sort of co. Like this move is more aggressive than simply blocking like this. Now this sort of co shape. If white wants to kill black unconditionally, white can jump like this. And this sort of move will, it depends on the outside surroundings.
So instead, white just seems like content to give away the corner it takes out there. Pressure black until they're alive.
And for this next move, black will probably G17. Okay. So I was wondering if this might work. But black does need this down in order to make this a fight. So black does not play that right away. Let's see.
So in the game, it looks like black just fixes first, hoping to aim at those cuts. White takes the cut away, so black lives small in the corner.
Yeah, this black is somewhat satisfied here.
Yeah.
Make a clean life from white.
Black has four corners on that.
White is solid on the outside, but black expected white to be solid on the outside after a 3-3 invasion here anyway. So, okay, white fixes here, very big, removes all the Aji.
Right. Like squeezing every bit of Aji out of that C10 stone he can.
So this might be a good time to do a quick count. In the lower left, black has 24 points about. And then upper left, we have about 7, 31. And then in the upper right, so that's kind of about 10. So we're at 41. In the lower right, let's call that about 15. Yeah, somewhere around 15. And
About 55.
yeah, and white has one large territory on the left.
But if it's 50 plus coin, then that's enough. Doesn't look like 50, but
It looks like around 40. If we count up to the H13 line, well, we can't count here. We'd have to count to the left of that. So somewhere in the neighborhood of 40. And then the right side, let's count that, it's about 10. So we have about 50. White has some territory on the bottom, but there's a potential of this this L1 code. So that is an uncertainty for now. It's a sort of time bomb that black can activate at any time. So I'm not sure why white doesn't
cut those stones out directly. Maybe white's trying to preserve the idea of F7 as a cut.
Yes.
Capture those stones outright.
Yeah, you are correct. Okay, so black's trying to get some exchanges from the upper side first before activating this Aji.
Yikes. Black really wants those 4 stones. Helping out. Yeah, Black's getting all these moves inside those second lines you just drew a moment ago. So that even if White does end up catching those loose stones, now it's not much of a middle at all. White's cut 7 stones there, maybe 25 points. Not the 40 we thought earlier.
Yeah, White has been reduced quite a bit here. White would really want to play from the outside and kill everything.
Yeah, attack this on a large scale. So if Black ends up living,
then White would lose the game. The other issue is White's lower left is not yet alive. Like if White had a stone here, for example, then this would be much more likely to work. However, there's also some weakness around like the D15 cut can come into play. Yeah, and not this. Yeah, white is just not quite thick enough to capture all of black. Yeah, and the other thing is black doesn't have to save every stone.
Right. This is just a reduction. This is all free.
Yeah, now white's stones in the upper left have become somewhat weak. It's hard to say at this point who's attacking who. Yeah, having to play a move like this to
just to stop that cut.
Right.
And so now Black's running out, and suddenly those 3 stones at J6 have become 8 stones, very heavy, and they're going to have to go back and capture. Ouch.
The capturing these stones in set A.
Yeah.
Black is probably close to wrapping up this game. The L1 code becomes a real possibility. Okay, that exchange.
Well, yeah, I don't think Black even needs it at this point. Well, it's just White has just too many fires to put out. And so Black tries to take the initiative in the center. Black says, you know what?
And White starts a pretty desperate code here.
And Black finishes it. So all White really got was a few stones in the middle, but Black with a complete invasion, a free capture.
And White resigns at this point.
White with just too many fires to put out, not enough points. Michael Chen gives it up. Andy, will you still just 1 loss? Is that right?
That's correct.
Still in the hunt. Let's go back and see how board 1 continued. When we left off, White had just expanded the lower left. Is that right?
White had
We just made a couple exchanges. A couple updates on board number one. During the game, I guess asked the tournament director to check for any cheating devices. Maybe that's just a testament to Alex training with AI, being able to find AI moves, very exact play. But Han thought him enough to request a quick inspection, and Alex welcomed it, and play is continued.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Interesting that Han would request it only for this round before the game. It might be perhaps a psychological tactic.
Yeah, because Alex Chi is a young player, and I think maybe easy to rattle. If this is a legitimate challenge you can do, it's very hard to say that it's done as a tactic, but for the sake of the integrity of the game, I guess it's something you have to expect as a player at a high level. So when we left off, again, Black had spent a couple moves trying to rattle that group in the upper left, and White had built the center. It looks like maybe there's a...
So this is the current game, I believe.
Okay.
And with this, sorry, Black has played some slow moves here, but Black is also protecting the E9 group indirectly.
Yeah, but now Black has to get into the center and does. Now he's really pressing this attack in the upper left. It seems like Han has to get connected fast. So now Black is connected, and White thinks after Black's strong, maybe there's more potential on the left, lower left for shenanigans.
At this time, the lower left, Black probably has to jump in. Just a quick.
It's so big.
Quick check. Because Black has played the stones around here. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
These moves only serve the purpose of solidifying his own group, but not making any points.
Yeah, pulling out a weak group and getting them connected. While White got these moves on the outside that are potential in the center. Even the move at C13 suddenly grabs an extra 5 points on the side. So Black made his trouble, and Black does come in. As you say, so it sees that it's too many points for White. Is this going to be a cope? White's got a lot of strength on the bottom there.
There's a potential for cope, although in this case I would expect White to play this knight's move. This is the way if you want to kill this corner unconditionally.
And Black plays away. Black says, I guess it's co-threats.
Right. If Black plays here now, White's going to jump here.
Mm-hmm.
You can see for the time being, Black's got one eye only in the corner, and
not a lot of ways out.
Yeah, in order for us to work, in order for this killing tactic from White to work, White needs to be strong on the outside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What if Black slides first at say E2 in response to White's move?
So White should block here.
Okay, this doesn't really change the status. There's still...
Yeah, so to try to make this corner live, I can play this move. But there's still only one line in the shape.
That.
Black might try on this side now. And in order to kill this shape, White has to play this high.
There's death in the high, they say. Watch out, there's death in the high. We have AGF auction, for those of you that are interested in Go Camp signs. We had a short film from the Congress opening ceremonies, and the signage from that film are being donated. So if you go to charityauction.biz/American Go Foundation, there is a charity auction, tons of Go equipment, Go Camp signs, and all sorts of fun stuff. One of them being, watch out, there's death in the high. It's hilarious. I'm not sure what I think it could be yours for 20 bucks. So this corner hopeless.
Right, so in this corner, black's best try to live is to play here. However, after white jumps, this peep will work. And once again, black only has one eye.
Yeah. If black had just a little more odds on the outside, ability to attack the B5 stone, perhaps a different story. So when the game black plays away and leaves those code threats for later. Don't play forcing moves that don't work. So black's spending a lot of moves to negate these white points in the middle, but not getting any himself. And this white group is simply too strong to die.
Yeah, you might notice there's a weakness here I can try and exploit. If black highlights here, I can spend.
All right, and suddenly black's inside white's house there.
Right, and black would have to struggle to live inside. It's not clear how black can do that. But white seems to be confident enough, even without trying this. It's a very, very solid move.
Yeah, but it's adding some reinforcement to that K7 cut.
Well, yeah, and the primary purpose of this move is to eliminate the Aji from black C3. So white is even thicker on the outside.
Right. E7 is even less of a problem.
Okay, and white turns seems like to start the end game.
White says this is really big. Surprised white doesn't try to convert any points in the middle here. Maybe move around at M9 or something. Simply try to get a dozen points in the center. Seems like.
Yeah, I'm curious if white is going to continue with B16 or not. My guess is I don't think so. But he does play anything.
So white says, I have enough points. Let's calm down.
I mean, as white, I'll be quite tempted to play here now.
Another really big move that leaves with a big follow-up.
Yeah, if white doesn't, if white doesn't play here, then white will hop in. This is. Oh, okay. So I think if white plays here, black may not respond and take that. Reduction in territory is pretty big though. So let's say black plays this move. So there is a follow-up cut. Well, it doesn't work in this case.
It gets the one stone for free, I guess. But then suddenly black's still gonna have.
I can just cut across and kill.
Yeah, all those black expended to get his group connected.
But yeah, this is a very big game. You suggested playing a move around here, trying to make some points. It's also possible.
Well, let's go ahead and see how how it proceeded here. Black taking just some forcing moves in, I guess. This is just part of endgame. And white gets this clever reduction of the corner, trading 2 stones for
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, because of that reduction, that is why white played the hunting connection. Without that, if that didn't exist, then you might have chosen another move.
But now black gets this big move that you were looking at on the bottom. And then shrinks white, comes back for some big end game, and yeah, it seems a bit early. We're only at a move 120, and we're talking about end game. But I guess just white's just comfortable enough with the points that they have. So I think this brings us correct on board 1. Board 2 again. Andy's prevailed over Mike. And if we have time to jump to board 3 and 4. Get a quick look at how those games developed. Let's jump to board 3 where we have Albert Yan and Yongfei Gay. I'm always impressed by Yongfei, always in a button down. Always professional and well attired. In this game, he is taking white. And so Albert Yan, who do you like? Younger player? I don't know if you saw the result.
Oh, I didn't.
Who do you like between Albert Yan and Yongfei Gay?
I think Albert should be favored in this matchup.
Okay. He's taking black, so he definitely gets to dictate the opening a little bit. And I think starting here with the pincer in response to the low approach.
So black plays his jump. It's a little bit unusual.
Yeah, we talked about N4 being more normal.
Yeah, this is a variation we see a lot these days. It's a really interesting response. It feels like both sides have studied this shape.
It feels like a game on Fox. It's just you want something and your opponent says no. Doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if the rest of the board is wide open. It's just, no.
Yeah, I think both players have quite a lot of knowledge around these local to secondary. Okay, so yeah, I guess the idea behind this is to be more efficient.
Right. That approach gives black a huge potential on the bottom. So if white's denying that, then black says, well, I get something too. And what black gets is to keep white's potential down on the right side. So a bit of a trade there. Now the corner is in danger, and white has a target. I kind of like this for white. There's a seems a pretty tough position for black to run out and just let white convert the bottom as they go.
Yeah, it feels very, very even at this point.
So white a little bit shrunk on the bottom, a little bit thin, but
yeah. So
black is just a big sacrifice by black. What's black doing coming into 3-3 this early? Well, no, I wouldn't say early, but coming in white's corner is pretty strong.
Normally, this is some kind of sacrifice, but if white's not careful, there's a serious shortage of liberties here. So black can make a net here.
Both groups have 4 liberties, but So black essentially gets all these squeeze moves on the outside before he finishes his wall for free.
Yeah, black has definitely gained something here. So coming back here, black can aim to attack L3.
Right, yeah, this is a free attack, forcing white to live. Yeah, which black gets the entire bottom there.
So just looking at this result, feels like black gained a bit.
Yeah, the ease that black just cut off the bottom and converted 25 points. Can we look at whether white had any option there? When black comes in at N2, can white just live small?
N2. Okay,
Yeah.
so if white wants to live, I can play here.
So white's still gonna give up something. White's still gonna give up 10 points and take Gote.
Yeah, this black would be pretty happy with this result. I think the problem was earlier. In response to this approach, this kind of move might be playable. At least it's not like in the game where black could have activated that Aji here.
Well, this is a very interesting squeeze to know and keep in mind. Sacrificing 4 stones to get a much stronger wall on it. But this seems, I mean, at least this way, white's alive on the bottom.
Well, in the game, we can say white made
Sure, maybe 5-6 points.
white made a gain there as well. And in the situation in the lower right hand corner, there's some co-potential
Okay.
around R2. This kind of shape.
They call this the carpenter square. Okay.
Notice here, this is white's thing.
Forcing.
So
So black's not connecting on the outside.
white actually might even have a simpler move, just playing like this. Life and death here. Black needs to play here in order to fight. Feels like a ko. Well, actually, this will be a seki. So white,
Yeah, but it's free. So although white's could have something on the bottom left, white has the option of just taking away black's 8-point corner for free.
Okay, so white plays here to reduce black's potential. Reduce the power of black's E16 wall.
Mm-hmm. Now it's black center. I feel like a move on the top. It's a pretty wide area.
Yeah, this is a good exchange for black. So white can connect from this side because black will play here. And this E7 stone allows black to pick up a liberty.
Yeah. Now white needs 2 moves to be able to approach down at A3.
All right, so this would be a win for black. So white has to play here, and with this sente, black has more moves on the outside. For example, like this. Okay, so black takes some territory. So we notice this move. Black is concerned about the Aji. Let's say Black plays something like this. There's
Double peep.
a peep here.
Mhm. And suddenly a little race.
Well, Black needs to
Yeah.
protect here. And actually, we notice Black probably doesn't have an issue here because with its E6
Mhm.
Sente, Black is quite thick. And Black is not going to play this now, but if you just imagine this shape.
Right.
White is pretty much sealed in. So
MA is
Black's move here.
interesting prescription.
But probably Black is expecting White to respond like this. And now Black can take
a
something.
perfect table shape, yeah.
Okay, so back to the real game. White.
Black takes corner, White says, I'll take your corner. Great. But this should be go take for White.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Black's still in the driver's seat here.
It's going to see aiming a cut on the outside.
And Black takes another corner.
All right, so Black's playing here to prevent White from playing E1 and Sente. We call it a reverse Sente move.
All right. So Black fixes the shape, takes away any remaining Aji, and then seems pretty content to make exchanges. This is an interesting move. Instead of I think players might just run out with these stones, but Black's saying I'm strong enough to just take away liberty. And
Yeah, White is suffering here.
yeah.
Black has more points, and the margin is actually pretty big.
Yeah.
White's only hope to turn the game around is to capture the lower right. But even with a ko, White's chances are pretty small.
Yeah.
So from here on, it should be pretty smooth too.
Black's dictating the game, and then does end up saving the points in the lower right, leaving not much to fight for. Yeah, that bottom really was decisive. So White got forced out into the middle with not a lot of points. And we have the game goes up to this point where Black's just getting all sorts of endgame. And White gives it up. Congratulations to Albert again. Pretty skillful sacrifice. I will have to remember that shape. We're going to look at one final game. Board 4 is moving on pretty slowly. But let's see how we got there. Again, 2 Komokus, 2 start points.
Yeah, we saw this opening on board 1.
In this case, the Kosumi, a strong shape. Not the usual extension, but and then Black plays away instead of solidifying the bottom, taking a corner first, and White taking Sente to deny the bottom, and then a fight in the middle. So both. Oh, we just saw this shape, and this time White says no shenanigans. So So I think when we picked up this game, we were looking at both players having. Um, I thought black had a pretty solid shape and white a little bit out of sorts. I may not be current.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
there's
think we're gonna take a break if we haven't already, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back. We're back from our break, continuing coverage of the American Go Association's 38th U.S. Go Congress in Estes Park, Colorado. We are in round 5 of the U.S. Open Masters tournament, and a lot of fun action today. We've got board 4 here that we haven't spent a lot of time on, and then we can get back to board 1 and see what's going on with Alex and Van Hunt. So in this game, we got Hugh Zhang and Jeremy Chu. Hugh is black. Seems to me a pretty comfortable position. Something to attack is always nice. There's those heavy stones on the board.
So let's take a quick look back at the lower left corner.
Yeah, so white denied black the lower side. In exchange, black plays this sort of probe into the corner. I guess if white doesn't respond, black has an easy life at E2 or D3.
Right.
Kind of claiming the corner.
So this sequence is for black, it's more or less ladder dependent. Like if white has a ladder, white can play here, and then black can't manage them now.
In this case, it's going from the upper right, definitely deny a ladder. Oh, that's a great question. I'm receiving a question about board 1, which is quite a ways off. I believe it's endgame now. I believe they're an endgame on board 1 with well, the computer says. The computer still likes Han-Han's position, but in any case, we can take a quick look at board 1. When we left off, we were here on board 1. Alex struggling to negate white's points in the middle, but at the same time, white building the lower left. No chance for black to live in that lower left corner. So it seemed like endgame and a bit in white's favor.
Right. I mean, we didn't get a count yet, but so we actually left off around this sequence.
All right.
Yeah. So. The territories are starting to be finalized. Right, black needs to have to move on the right side to live.
Mm-hmm. And now white finally converts some points in the middle.
This is
a strange peep.
This is a nice move. If black tries to push here.
Oh, squeeze. Oh, yeah. That's a pre-exchange, and then white's going to get to connect in Sente as well with another peep. So, well, at least black has succeeded in denying those points in the center. Are you counting?
Yeah, it should be a good time to.
Okay. Well, let's count the lower left. White's big territory there. Because maybe white has maybe 5 points on the right side as a whole. The right side pretty much negated.
So overall on the board, white's got something close to 60 points.
Mm-hmm.
For black,
like maybe 15 on the bottom, 5 on the right, makes 20. Needs another 40 on the top, and then to pay for Comey.
Yeah, Black's got about 50 board on some captures.
Oh, that's true.
So
That's true. Handful captures for Black.
5, perhaps.
Mhm.
So White is pretty comfortably ahead. Even on the board, White's up by a
Right,
few.
right. So White up a few plus Comey. Black definitely gonna have to pull out some endgame magic here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there is no possible place for that to happen.
Nothing works. What about F6 for Black? Let's say gosh, no, it's definitely an uphill battle. A close one.
Yeah. Overall in this game. Okay. Yeah. First of all, let's claim this as a White win.
Mm-hmm.
So Han will be undefeated. And overall in this game, Alex, Black didn't really have any shining moments. It just seemed like he was played a bit too passively.
Yeah, all the slow moves on the left. Maybe if Black had simply gotten that E7 move to kind of flatten White out on the left side, it'd be a lot closer. Instead of having to come back and make all the connections. Well, let's jump to board number 4 then. Hugh and Jeremy, the last game.
So White response here is it's a slightly unusual response. Normally we might see something like this.
Just accept the reduction.
Right. And actually White can also play this move. Black can play this sequence. And this corner is kind of a Joseki, kind of a middle game corner variation. So playing here without cutting, it is a bit unusual. But as a result, it looks pretty even. These exchanges, though, seem to be a bit of a waste.
Yeah, Black's got some potential there on the right side.
Right.
Instead, just sort of uses that up to again lean on the group that you're not really intent on killing, to build up some power, and then to use that power to attack White's heavy group.
Yeah, except this attack is pretty unlikely to actually materialize. It does seem like Black is aiming still.
He's intent on that attack. Now White's the one getting in the force.
Yeah, this is another common follow-up to the 3-3 Joseki.
Leaving behind a pretty big corner for later. Black's starting a in the lower right.
Yeah, if White wanted to avoid this, White could simply play here.
Well, certainly White wanted to get there before Black, because Black just gets R4.
Yeah, it will be a pretty big move.
Yeah.
So Black doesn't just want to play this one and allow White to reduce the corner very comfortably. So Black starts his
Well, that's great fighting spit. And I think to do when your shapes are solid, when you've got some room to attack your opponent, some co-threats.
Yeah, this color is not, it's not very heavy for white.
So we're just going to intermittently see this code taken and retaken throughout the middle game. And white finishes it. Says usually that just means that white is a strong follow up here.
Well, white's saying that this move is not a severe threat on by the left side. So we can just step down. Okay, so black doesn't have any territory left besides the upper side.
Yeah, it seems he's really banking on attacking Jeremy, his heavy group in the wall. Maybe a cap at K11 or something. If black doesn't get much out of that attack, white's now got the right side, the left side.
Right, white's got too many points. So this move, it's still not a threat on white. I can, let's say white plays a move here. Usually I want to play something a bit more active.
And there you have it. Yeah.
So
Having won the co, it seems like you've got some Anju there to use. And he just presses it, takes some more points in the corner, and then fixes his shape.
yeah, actually black isn't alive here either. So black's earlier investment with this press,
Right.
it's become a liability, a weak group. Okay, so finally black has gained something with this honey.
White finally has to respond, but black's just hoping to take the entire top and mass. And white just snaps off 4 stones. As you said, this black group needed to connect out because it wasn't alive locally, and in the process, these stones that black had hoped to attack suddenly have turned the tables, eaten an easy 15 points in the center. Oh, it feels like one of my games. Like I can chase my opponent, and then I end up forcing them to turn around and kill me. So that portends a pretty bad result for black here. I feel like if white just simply lives anywhere on the top in the upper right, then that's probably enough.
Well, as white, the first thing I'll consider is what if we leave the corner alone and just try and reduce from the outside? Will this be enough? Well, to answer that, we have to count.
You have to count. Do you count in pairs?
Yes.
For those who are watching, counting in pairs, an easy way to have the work. If you simply count 1 point at a time, then you have to count every single point. If you count in pairs, not only do you get to count 2 points of territory at a time, but when you get to a prisoner, that is the point for the prisoner and the space underneath it. You can count the prisoner as a pair. So counting pairs across the board, a much faster way of quickly assessing. So in this case, assessing how many points white needs to reduce is key to the decision to invade or reduce.
Right.
So black having that whole upper side.
Yeah, it seems to me that even if white just plays here, white should be able to win this game. But there's no harm in at least making an exchange or two.
A couple probing moves.
Yeah, as long as black does respond.
Sometimes your opponent will just let you.
So I mean, this will probably not work. But if black were to choose something like this, you know, it may as well be black's only chance.
Mhm. To risk it, risk being able to kill white outright.
Yeah, and this, as black in this position, this would be the kind of move that I would want to play. I would definitely be considering. Because, you know, if I just answer normally, I'm going to lose anyway. So, and honestly, I'm not quite sure even if this works and somehow it's a clean kill if black has enough. Um, but it's worth trying.
And there, white does again. That Note 14 exchange, very elegant as a way to maintain that connection with that stone.
So white judge,
Mhm.
he's got enough points.
A
So
little bit of a reduction, an extra 5 points territory. And then fix the left side. And now a coal in the upper left for points. White threatened to live in the upper right I've heard the term co-factory. That white just has so many moves that have to be answered in the upper right in order to deny life. That it's very unlikely black gets everything. Can we ask how accurate this count will be? I'm not sure how the computer is evaluating, but computer likes white. That's going to be a tough game.
yeah, this game is pretty much over.
We're back on board one. Again, another difficult to convert.
Oh, Alex has resigned.
You read out too much to make up an end game and called it. All right. Han then still undefeated. With just 2 games to go.
That's right.
All right. All right. So we will return with more coverage tomorrow of the U.S. Open Masters Tournament. Thanks everyone for watching at home. Hope you can make it for the remainder of our coverage. We'll be right back at it for the next round.
Thank you, everyone.